Chapter 1330. Goodbye Zhu Yonk. Zhang Yi and his men left the rebel base camp. Luo Zhuo looked at the three people who disappeared in the blink of an eye, took a deep breath, exhaled a puff of white smoke, and slowly dissipated in the air. Everyone pack up your things. We will move to the number 17 base. Luo Zhuo was very grateful for Zhang Yi's help, and he almost completely trusted Zhang Yi. But as a leader, he couldn't risk the lives of so many people in the organization. A cunning rabbit has 3 burrows, and they have many spare camps like this. And these are the lessons learned with blood before. Those who disguised themselves as friends and came to get their base camp were sincere at first and sent a lot of supplies. As a result, they brought the Chieftains private soldiers. When facing the people of the rebel organization, those private soldiers were like demons. They didn't even have the idea of capturing prisoners. They just executed them all. No matter old people or children, they would have the same ending if they fell into their hands. As for the captives at the Chuanzhao Dharma Assembly, if they were not used for sacrifice, they would not be kept until then to be killed. Bam and Zhuma took the order and went down, skillfully having people pack up their things and take all the necessary supplies to leave here. Luozhua stood on the snow, letting the heavy snow fall on his head and shoulders. He stretched out his right hand and caught a falling snowflake, and the white in front of him slowly turned into a crazy burning red. Luozhua, remember, you are the child of the great snow mountain. In the crazy burning fire, a temple had collapsed, and the wood was tilted here and there, making a crackling sound. Luozhua stood in the courtyard, holding an old monk with wounds all over his body and spitting blood in his arms. He stretched out his rough and skinny palm and touched Luozhua's face. Go and seize his godhood. Luozhua, you are the real savior. The scene in front of him returned to reality. Luozhua closed his eyes, and a look of grief appeared on his face. He clenched the snowflake in his hand tightly and whispered in a low voice, "Teacher, I will do it, I will." Zhang Yi returned to Paki's house. When he went back and asked, no one in Paki's family noticed that he had been away for a long time. After all, Paji Gasang was not there, and the others did not dare to disturb Zhang Yi and the others' rest. Very good, very good. Next, we have something to do. Zhang Yi called Yang Xinxin and told her all the conversations with Luo Zhuo today. Because it was recorded in the video, Yang Xinxin could understand it easily. Xinxin, I have an idea in my mind. See if it is feasible. Zhang Yi said with his arms folded. Brother, tell me about it. Yang Xinxin said with a smile. Zhang Yi told him the complete plan in his mind. After listening to it, Yang Xinxin added some more to him. The two planned for a long time. After more than half an hour, Zhang Yi opened the door, and then he went to find Fatty Su, who was concentrating on playing games. Zhang Yi reached out and patted Fatty Su on the shoulder. Fatty, don't rush to play double row with the little boy girl. Come with me. It's time to work. Fatty Su was startled, turned around and saw that it was Zhang Yi, and quickly put on a smiling face. Hey, boss, if there's anything you need me to do, just tell me. He was still wondering, with his current strength, what could he be used for? The southwest region was originally colder than other places, and his blizzard maker became a decoration. Zhang Yi smiled slightly. Come with me? Back to Jiangnan. Huh? Fatty Su blinked, looking puzzled. Zhang Yi didn't talk nonsense with him. He just came to inform Fatty Su and didn't ask for his opinion. Immediately, Zhang Yi asked the others to stay and wait, and he dragged Fatty Su, opened the dimensional door directly, and fled to the Jiangnan region. The distance from the southwest region to Jiangnan is close to crossing the entire Huaxiu kingdom. Zhang Yi and his team rushed for half an hour and finally arrived at Blizzard City. Isn't this Blizzard City? Fatty Su looked at the huge steel and concrete forest in front of him and asked Zhang Yi with a puzzled look, Boss, what are you doing here? Fatty, now's the time for you to be useful, Zhang Yi said with a smile. Without waiting for Fatty Su to speak, he first came to Zhu Zheng's combat command center. Zhang Yi walked in from the gate. The guard at the door saw Zhang Yi and was about to say something. When he saw the person clearly, he immediately straightened his back. Welcome Captain Chaos to the Combat Command Center. Salute. The 2 rows of guards around saluted in unison, their backs as straight as bamboo. They looked at Zhang Yi, unable to suppress the admiration and excitement in their eyes. "I want to see Commander Zhu Zheng," Zhang Yi said with a smile. He strode into the door and walked directly to the elevator. Although he could go directly to Zhu Zheng's office, he would still give Zhu Zheng basic face. After all, you should not hit someone in the face. Behind the counter in the office lobby on the first floor, a woman in a black uniform and a bun was supporting her side face with one hand, looking at the monitor in front of her and muttering something. When she saw the person coming, she immediately shouted, "Come and register." Zhang Yi paused slightly and turned his head to take a look. He never had to register here. He could go up to find Zhu Zheng directly. "I don't know which fearless person dared to order me." As a result, Zhang Yi's mouth corners lifted when he saw it. Isn't this Zhu Zheng's niece Zhu Yang? She was driven insane by pirates in the southeastern sea area. Now she is a receptionist and looks mentally ill. "Zhu Yang, long time no see," Zhang Yi said jokingly. When Zhu Yang saw Zhang Yi's face clearly, her face turned pale at a speed visible to the naked eye. She covered her head and seemed to think of everything that happened at sea. "No, don't electrocute me, Master. Master, I know I was wrong. I'm not a young lady from Jiangnan. I'm just a lowly shepherd dog," she screamed, squatted on the ground with her head in her hands in pain, and trembled violently. Soon, a foul smell came from her body. The colleagues around her flashed away as if by reflex, looking at her with disgust. "Isn't she wearing a diaper today? Maybe she leaked. Since she came back from the Southeast Sea, she has become abnormal. I don't know if she has been electrocuted too much by Nerote, and she can't control her urination and defecation. Whenever she is stimulated, she will go crazy. But her uncle is Zhu Zheng, and the colleagues around her can only tolerate the existence of this weirdo." Zhang Yi looked at this young lady, feeling a lot in his heart, but he would never pity Zhu Yang. What happened today was all caused by her. Fatty Su stared at Zhang Yi blankly, and then looked at Zhu Yang. "Look at him, then look at her, look at him, and then look at her." He asked curiously, "Boss, have you played any exciting play between you? Why did she shout something like master and shepherd dog when she saw you, and she lost control of her bladder on the spot?" Zhang Yi's face darkened. "If you keep talking, I'll make you eat me on the spot." Fatty Su was so scared that his neck shrank, and he quickly covered his mouth. Chapter 1332. Teacher Su. Zhang Yi came directly to Zhu Zheng's office without reporting. As soon as he got out of the elevator, the corridor was full of people. They were all staff members of the command center. They stood on both sides and bowed to Zhang Yi and Fatty Su. "Hello, Captain Chaos. Hello, Marshal Tianpeng." They were all smiling, and there were more female staff members, so the atmosphere looked a bit strange. Fatty Su whispered, "Good guy, if you don't know, you would think you are in the Golden Romantic Club." Lan Xinqing trotted all the way to Zhang Yi. "Hey, Captain, hello, Marshal Tianpeng. You two are rare guests. I wonder if you have any instructions for your visit this time?" This upper-class figure in the Jiangnan region, who used to be extremely cold, now nodded and bowed in front of Zhang Yi. Very flattering. It turned out that he was not unable to laugh, but he just hadn't met the person who could make him laugh. Zhang Yi said, "I have something to do with Zhu Shuai. Zhu Shuai already knows that you are here. He is waiting in the office." Lan Xinqing led the way attentively and took Zhang Yi to Zhu Zheng's office. As soon as the door was opened, Zhu Zheng immediately stood up from the sofa and walked over to shake hands with Zhang Yi. "My dear Captain, you haven't been to Blizzard City for a while. What's the matter? Do you need supplies? Just ask for it, haha." Zhu Zheng's face was full of smugness. Since Zhang Yi gave him 7% of the yuan or share, the energy shortage problem in Blizzard City has been well solved. Even from this time on, Blizzard City allows young couples to have healthy children. They have solved the basic survival problems for the millions of people in Blizzard City. The next step is to reproduce and let civilization continue. Zhang Yi smiled and said, "I don't have any special needs, but there is something I need your help with." Zhu Zheng asked curiously, "You can't solve the problem, And you want me to help? Zhang Yi smiled faintly and said to him, I hope you can immediately gather the best quality software hardening engineers in all areas of Blizzard City. My brother is useful. He patted Fatty Sue beside him. Just now, he almost said that he was going to use it, but he was a man who cared about his reputation, so it was more appropriate to use Fatty Sue to take the blame. Zhu Zheng looked at Zhang Yi with suspicion, then looked at Fatty Sue, who was innocently taking the blame, and laughed. I thought it was a big deal. This is simple. He immediately called Lan Xinqing and asked him to notify all the service agencies in Blizzard City to gather the best technical professionals in Blizzard City. He did not ask Zhang Yi what he was going to do, but he understood that Zhang Yi was not just horny and wanted to come here for fun. Zhang Yi would use him to do this kind of thing, which must have an important role. At this time, Fatty Sue was still in a state of confusion. He couldn't believe that Zhang Yi actually asked him to go to Blizzard City to find a lady's sister. On the Lan Xinqing side, a phone call was made, and soon after, the heads of all the high-end places in Blizzard City received the news and immediately sent people to Zhang Yi's villa in Blizzard City. Zhang Yi did not delay at all and rushed there with Fatty Sue. Boss, can I ask you what you want to do by bringing me here this time? Fatty Sue asked in a low voice. Zhang Yi glanced at him and said, use your professional expertise. When the time comes, pick out a woman who you think is the most coquettish, charming, and the most attractive to young men. He emphasized again, remember, I am not asking about your preferences. After all, the kind of woman you like may not be liked by ordinary people. I mean women that normal young men cannot control. Fatty Sue immediately jumped up and said, Boss, you must speak with conscience. Yang Yang and I are innocent.
Zhang Yi, haha.
Regardless of how angry Fatty Sue was, pulling his hair and stamping his feet, Zhang Yi took Fatty Sue to the villa given to him by Blizzard City. Lan Xinqing's work efficiency is very high. His power in Blizzard City is sometimes not an exaggeration to say that he is second only to one person and above 10,000 people. Not long after, one car after another quickly stopped at the door of the villa. Lan Xinqing walked into the villa and asked respectfully, Lord Hundan, the people have come, and there are more on the way. Do you want them to come in and take a look? Or should we keep them all? Zhang Yi took a sip of tea and said lightly, call the girls over first. Fatty Sue's expression was very serious at this time. He actually silently took out a pair of black-framed glasses from his clothes and put them on. He didn't even know where to find a pen and a notebook. What are you doing? Zhang Yi asked. Fatty Sue raised his glasses seriously and said, Of course I'm giving them scores. I must do a good job of the tasks you assign me, boss. After all, there are only a few occasions where he can play a role. Soon, Lan Xinqing opened the door and shouted, Those from Lion Fang come in first. Line up for me, don't squeeze. Lord Hundan will look at them all. Those from Huanyanfang, if you cut in line again, I will suspend your license. When several major institutions in the city heard that Zhang Yi was here to select people, they immediately brought all the beautiful girls over excitedly. You know, whoever can get Zhang Yi's favor will be promoted to heaven in one step. Even the institutions behind them will be blessed and have a special status in Blizzard City in the future. Soon, a group of beautiful women walked into the other. Chapter 1330, 3 Wang Gang Stays. After 2 rounds of screening, for women entered the final round. Zhang Yi looked at the women in front of him and had to say that Fatty Sue had a good eye for picking people. They were all very nice in both appearance and figure. Basically, they had undergone surgery, so there were almost no physical defects. The most important thing was their eyes and expressions, and every frown was full of temptation. It was not the kind of cliched seduction, but a reluctance to accept. If you didn't know their identities, you would have thought they were young ladies from famous families and stepmothers of wealthy families when you saw them on the street. Fatty Sue smiled flatteringly at Zhang Yi. Boss, I think these are all good. What do you think? Ahem. Zhang Yi coughed, and then said to the women in front of him, Tell me your names first. The girls smiled and began to introduce themselves from left to right. Hello, sir, I'm Tao Ran. I'm in Qinling. I'm Su Xiaoxiao. I'm Lu Rushi. It's Wang Gang. When it came to the last woman, the name became a little weird. Zhang Yi and Fatty Sue were both stunned. You, what's your name? The one just now. The woman named Wang Gang smiled shyly, charming and attractive. My name is Wang Gang. Zhang Yi took a breath of cold air. This woman looks gentle and lovely, with good looks and figure, but her name is too solid. Lu Rushi hurriedly said, Mr. Hundun, this is my cousin. He just came back from further studies in the south a few years ago. Zhang Yi clapped his hands unconsciously. Great, great. This name can attract people's attention as soon as it is heard. It is really unique. As he said, he glanced at Fatty Sue with a strange look. This is also your favorite, oh? Fatty Sue's forehead was sweating. There were quite a lot of people at that time, and I can't remember their names clearly. Zhang Yi rolled his eyes and then said to them, Wang Gang stays, the others go out. Several women looked at Wang Gang with jealousy, and then obediently left the villa. Wang Gang, with a charming face, lifted the hem of his skirt and walked toward Zhang Yi. Sit down. Zhang Yi pointed to the sofa on the other side. This time, I have an important task assigned to you. Task. Wang Gang looked curious. Is it a new trick? Or, do you like to play a plot? Ahem, this is for real. But you can't use the name Wang Gang. Your sister is Lu Rushi, so from now on your name will be Lu Ruyans. Songjia Temple, Vajra Hall. The chieftains of the 4 major families gathered in front of a long table, which was filled with various delicacies. Among them, the indispensable one was naturally the suckling lamb placed in the middle of the table. It was already dark, and they discussed matters until the evening. At this time, the 4 chieftains were enjoying the food. Lumen Oju was relatively elegant and knew how to eat with a knife and fork. But Paji Geseng didn't care about his image. He used both hands to tear the huge elbow and stuffed it into his mouth. He didn't care about the oil stains on his body, and his face was shiny. Chef Luodan was serving them food on the side. Seeing the way they ate, he nodded with satisfaction. As a chef, it is his greatest joy to have people enjoy the food he made. What happened today is very unpleasant. Deji, the head of the Yashalangtai family, who was sitting on the first seat, spoke while eating, glaring at the 3 chieftains below. Those damn rebels actually attacked the Chuanzhao Dharma Assembly, which is an unforgivable crime. If it weren't for the fact that I was about to go to the Great Snow Mountain and open the door to the Demon Kingdom, I would definitely kill them all. Paji Geseng said without raising his head, you are right. To maintain the stability and peace of the entire southwest region, you still have to rely on your Songjia Temple, head of the Paji family. Deji glared at Paji Geseng, his voice full of rebuke. If you had asked your men to take action at that time, you would have been able to stop the rebels from escaping. Do you still have the nerve to say such things now? Paji Geseng raised his eyes without showing any weakness, and his sharp eyes were also like a tiger or a leopard. Is Tripa going to put the blame on us? The atmosphere at the scene was a little stagnant, but Xia Jia Jiatsua and Luminoju were still eating by themselves. They had seen such scenes many times. Among the 4 major families, their 2 families were weak, so they could only watch the 2 major families in front fight. Most of the time, they were fence-sitters, cooperating with whoever was stronger. Deji said with a dim look, this matter is over. The escape of a rebel will not shake the rule of our Songjia Temple and the 4 chieftains. However, I hope you understand that what happens next is a matter of life and death that determines the survival of the entire snow-covered plateau. No matter what kind of entanglement we have with each other, we must not trip each other up in the operation in the Great Snow Mountain. Paji Geseng stopped chewing, and Luminoju and Xiaja Jiatsua also looked at Deji. Deji leaned back in his chair on the top of the mountain. He picked up a white silk handkerchief from the side and wiped the grease on his hands. Then he turned the rosary in his hand and said faintly, it has been more than 2,000 years since the great King Geezer suppressed the demons. The day of the demons coming predicted in the legend of King Geezer will come soon. By then, the seal left by King Geezer will not be able to stop the real evil demons under the demon abyss, and our 4 major families will also usher in the end. Deji spoke slowly, but the atmosphere on the scene was extremely heavy. Lemon Oju suddenly said, "Is the legend left more than 2,000 years ago really true?" She expressed doubts about this. She received Western education since childhood and actually disdained these so-called ancient legends. But after the end of the world, after seeing all kinds of miracles on the snowy plateau, she began to have doubts in her heart. Could it be that the ancients really foresaw everything today more than 2,000 years ago? Deji then said, "But this is also an opportunity. We all know about the outside world. The Qinling Mountains in Shengjing District, the foggy valley abyss on the ocean, and the mysterious areas that are constantly appearing in the outside world. Those places are extremely dangerous, but they also contain huge treasures. As long as we can get those, we can not only preserve the family's 1,000-year foundation, but also make us stronger." He spread his hands and said proudly, "At that time, no one can shake our position in the snowy plateau. The southwest region will become a country within a country, and will be ruled by our 4 major families forever." This is said with confidence, but the 3 people below all sneered in their hearts. It sounds good, but I'm afraid that by that time, when the benefits are obtained, the Yashalangtai family will not share any with other families. Even after becoming powerful, it will annex the other 3 families. Everyone is a smart person, and no one can be fooled by such polite words. In the living room of the villa, it was -50 or 60 degrees Celsius outside, but they were wearing thin clothes, and their lips were blue from the cold. You can imagine how hard they worked. Fortunately, the indoor temperature was very high, otherwise they would have frozen to death or paralyzed if they had held on for another minute. Zhang Yi had never met them before, and he couldn't tell much from just a glance.
What
he needed was not only a woman with a pretty face and a good figure, but also the kind who knew how to tease people and could capture people's hearts. At times like this, you have to rely on Fatty Sue. He has basically ordered all the well-known female technicians in the entire Blizzard City. Fatty Sue looked serious. Junjin is not good. She's aloof and is more popular with uncles. Lily is okay, but she has had plastic surgery, and you can see that her facial features are not right if you look closely. Lianlian's breasts are too small, and Ai's skin is a bit dark. Soon, he finished scoring on the notebook and waved his hand to Lan Xinqing, changed to another group. The faces of these girls were full of regret, but they still left obediently through the door next to them. Lan Xinqing immediately arranged for a new group of people to come. Fatty Sue stared at the girls' faces, breasts and thighs, with a serious face. What was rare was that there was no lustful desire on his face, but he commented seriously, like a judge of an international supermodel competition. After all the girls had finished looking, Fatty Sue circled a few with the highest scores from several pages of notes and asked Lan Xinqing to call them over. Just now it was just an audition, and now it's the official selection, Fatty Sue said seriously. Lan Xinqing, who took the notebook, was a little embarrassed and thought that you are quite professional in this area. Chapter 1330, Go help me with something. The chieftains of the 4 major families gathered and immediately talked about the operation in the Great Snow Mountain in a few days. Deji said, "The mission to the Demon Kingdom is arduous. Each of our families must send a team of powerful aliens to follow the Burial Master to fight. But at that time, we must also be wary of those rebels making trouble." Deji glanced at Paji Gasang and said lightly, "I will follow the Burial Master and enter the Demon Kingdom together. At that time, someone will be responsible for coordination and strict defense." Several family heads, "Who of you is willing to take responsibilities?" Hearing this, the 3 chieftains were secretly surprised in their hearts. Deji is going to go all out? This time, the main forces of Songjia Temple and the Yashalangtai family will leave and will become completely empty shells. But everyone also knows that as long as the Burial Master is there, they will quickly get back everything they have lost. And as long as they get the legendary treasure of the Demon Kingdom, the Yashalangtai family will only become stronger. Xia Jia Jutswa said, "For the sake of safety, I must lead the team myself." Lemon Oju pursed his lips. "Yes, I thought so too. Since they are going underground with the funeral master, it will definitely be safer."
if
The treasure of the Demon Kingdom is discovered and others get it. Their chieftain positions will be lost. Paji Gasang drank a mouthful of meat soup, smacked his lips, and said, "No one seems to want to stay and deal with the mess." It is indeed a mess. Not only can they not go to the Demon Kingdom to control the situation, but they will also suffer losses when the benefits are divided. Master Paji, I think you are the most suitable candidate. Why don't you stay and be responsible for defending against the rebels? Deji smiled sinisterly and looked at Paji Gasang. Xia Jia Jiatsua and Luminoju also looked at him. They thought Paji Gasang would refuse. Unexpectedly, Paji Gasang sneered. "Let me stay? Aren't you afraid that I will tear down the nest of your Yashalangtai family?" Deji sneered. "You are a smart man. You won't do such a thing." He picked up a glass of wine at hand, raised his sleeves, and revealed a big gold watch. After drinking the wine, he said lightly, "Do the things assigned to you well, and you will know in the future that doing so will be beneficial to you. The implication is that if you don't obey, we will purge the Paji family when we come back from the Demon Kingdom in the future." Haha. Good, since you trust me to leave everything. Then your private soldiers will have to listen to me. I will give you some people, but your authority to mobilize them is limited to defending against those rebels. Paji Gasang and Deji's smiles were extremely cold, and their eyes crossed, like the collision of swords, and the air was full of gunpowder. Deji tore off a piece of meat and ate it while praising, "Laudon's cooking skills are getting better and better. I feel that I can't live without your cooking now." He suddenly looked at Luodan, who was standing aside to share the food. "Why don't you come to the Yashalangtai family and be my chef in the future?" Luodan nodded politely and said, "I am the chef of the Paji family, and will only follow the orders of the head of the family." Paji Gasang laughed. "Deji, are you eager to reach out your hand now?" He pointed at Luodan, "But my dear chef never gives away." Deji's eyes turned cold and said meaningfully, "But I have never failed to get what I want. Hee, this world is big, and many things are unpredictable." "Deji, you are too impatient." Paji Gasang waved to Luodan and asked him to go down first. Luodan bowed and saluted, then calmly left the King Kong Hall. He gently closed the huge door, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, which flashed away. Turning to walk out, a long corridor led to the outside of the hall. Paji Luodan. Suddenly, a cold voice called Luodan. Luodan looked up and saw a man in dark red combat uniform leaning against the wall not far ahead, looking at him coldly. The man was tall and thin, with long arms and legs, and a snow-covered scimitar slung around his waist. His thumb had already opened the blade, and the cold light reflected the light on the roof, revealing a murderous intent that could not be ignored. The man in front of him was Nalatu, the leader of the guards of the Yashalangtai family. This shrewd and capable man had dark circles under his eyes and some fatigue that was difficult to conceal. Luodan slowly walked to him and nodded. As he passed by, Nalatu gritted his teeth and said word by word, "Remember, sooner or later, I will kill you with my own hands." Luodan glanced at him nonchalantly, bowed to him, and then left the hall. As he walked along, he didn't know how many people were secretly looking at him. No one wanted to get close to this famous chef, and many people even looked at him with hatred that was hard to suppress. But when Luodan was surrounded by such gazes, the smile on his lips became even more joyful. "Yes, that's it, slowly nourishing your hatred. The look in your eyes that wanted to kill me and then eat me was so pleasing." That night, Paji Gasang and Deji parted unhappily. After returning home, he came to Zhang Yi as soon as possible. Now, the reason why he can be tough is because of Zhang Yi, otherwise what can he use to fight Deji? At this time, Zhang Yi was also sitting in the room, waiting for Paji Gasang to come back. Paji Gasang entered the room and saw a cup of steaming milk tea on the coffee table. The soft sofa seat had sunk but had not rebounded yet. He knew that Zhang Yi had been sitting here, as if waiting for him. "Mr. Hundun, that bastard from the Yashalangtai family, is really bullying." Paji Gasang complained to Zhang Yi as soon as he came, saying how the other party bullied him. Zhang Yi listened silently and suddenly said, "Do you want to take revenge on them?" Paji Gasang was stunned. Yes, of course I do. I dream about it, he said sincerely. Zhang Yi waved at him. Come here, I want you to help me do something. After listening to Zhang Yi's plan, Paji Gasang's expression changed several times. Will this work? He expressed his disbelief. He has been practicing Buddhism for more than 10 years and has lost all desire for worldly things. Your method. Zhang Yi smiled faintly. There is a saying called idol filter. In your eyes, the burial master is a god, so he is perfect. But in my opinion, he is just an otaku who has not left home for more than 10 years and only knows how to chant sutras. Otaku is Zhang Yi's description of the burial master Juegua. Although it sounds strange, it is indeed very appropriate when you think about it carefully. Everyone thinks that he has already achieved nothing, but only Zhang Yi understands that the fruit of enlightenment may not be as pure as others think. The look in his eyes when he looked at Zhou Qier that day explained everything. Chapter 1335 Beauty View. On the second day, a special guest arrived at a villa of the Paji family.
A
black car stopped at the door, and the people who were receiving him were extremely respectful, not daring to be negligent. As the attendant opened the door, an old monk with gray hair came out of the car. When the guards at the door saw him, they even knelt down and buried their heads deeply in the ground. Paji Gasang had been waiting at the door for a long time. When he saw the visitor, he immediately smiled and walked over. Wangbo Chiba, thank you for coming in your busy schedule. Paji Gasang was particularly attentive to the old monk in front of him. Because his identity was extraordinary, he was the previous Chiba of Songjia Temple, Wangbo Sangji. At the beginning, Yashalangtai Deji relied on his identity as the patriarch of the funeral master and in the military force of the Yashalangtai family, and used both soft and hard tactics to force the Chiba to abdicate. But in the snowy plateau, Wangbo Sangji still has a very high status. Because he has served as the Chiba of Songjia Temple for more than 30 years, he can be said to be a household name. Moreover, he also had a connection with the Paji family because the Chiba in his previous generation was the grandfather of Paji Gasang, and also his teacher. Paji Gasang invited Wangbo Sangji into the tea room inside and asked the servants to bring in the best tea and cakes. Wangbo Sangji sat opposite him, looked at the attentive Paji Gasang and said bluntly, Gasang, if you have anything to say, just tell me directly. At this time, I can't stay here for long. If it weren't for his master's face, Wangbo Sangji would not want to see Paji Gasang at all. After all, everyone knows that his relationship with Deji is not good, and it is very likely to affect Wangbo Sangji himself in the future. Paji Gasang smiled and said, Wangbo Chiba, I invited you this time, hoping that you can do me a favor. Wangbo Sangji looked up at him. If it is related to Songjia Temple or Yashlangtai's family, you'd better not say it. His tone was unusually cold, and it was obvious that he didn't want to cause trouble. Paji Gasang narrowed his eyes, and there was still a flattering smile on his face. Wangbo Tripa, you were driven out of office by Deji and lost your position as Tripa. Are you really willing to accept this? Wangbo Sangji paused, and an angry look flashed in his eyes. Gasang, why are you mentioning this? He is an old man in his 70s, and he could have passed on his position after his death. But at the age when he was about to be buried, he was forced to abdicate, which was the sorrow he was most reluctant to mention. Paji Gasang continued, What ability does Deji have? He knows nothing about Buddhism and is just a Buddhist thief. He took advantage of the fact that his family had a funeral master, so he robbed and robbed. The fact that the Tripa of Songjia Temple asked him to do it is simply a disgrace to our Tantric Buddhism for thousands of years. Paji Gasang's words made Wangbo Sangji very satisfied. He said lightly, the matter is a foregone conclusion. He has the support of the funeral master. Who can do anything about it? Although his tone was flat, he still revealed a trace of unwillingness. But Paji Gasang said to him, the reason why he was able to become the Tripa is because he is the head of the funeral master. If he does not have the support of the funeral master, he is not to be feared. Wangbo Sangji glanced at him and said coldly, speaking of the point. Paji Gesang laughed. Wangbo Tripa, the funeral master, and you often discussed Buddhism, and the relationship between the two was like that of a teacher and a student. Have you ever thought that if Deji can control the funeral master, why can't you? Me? Haha, I don't have a powerful private army. Wangbo Singji sneered. Paji Gesang said, but as long as you get the support of the funeral master, you can resist thousands of troops.
Why?
Wangbo Singji asked back. Paji Gesang straightened up and clapped his hands vigorously. Immediately, a woman came out from behind the screen in the room. She was charming, and a glance from her could make countless men lose their souls. I hope you can help me show my respect to the funeral master. Paji Gesang pressed his thigh. I remember that in the practice of Buddhism, there is such a lesson called beauty contemplation. It is through observing the decaying process of the female corpse that one can realize the true meaning of the rosy skeleton. The funeral master is a person who has attained great enlightenment. As his half-master, isn't it reasonable for you to help him practice? Beauty contemplation, beauty pass. Paji Gesang's words are puns with deep meaning. Wangbo Singji raised his eyes and looked at the woman. He hadn't seen such a beautiful woman for many years. It's not the appearance, but the style between the eyebrows and eyes. One look can make people obsessed with her. Women like this can't be found in the snowy plateau nowadays. This is the top-level skinny horse born in the most nourishing place in the Jiangnan water town. She doesn't know anything else, but only knows one thing, which is how to hook a man's heart. Wangbo Singji lowered his eyes, and he couldn't help but think of a past event. When Zhongzhu Juegua first practiced in seclusion, he was sealed in a small room, leaving only a small hole to deliver food and scriptures to him. In that secret room of less than 10 square meters, he practiced hard for 3 years. After 3 years, Wangbo Singji brought people and smashed the wall with a sledgehammer to invite him out. But everyone thought that Zhongzhu's practice was successful, so they held celebrations and congratulations. However, during the funeral ceremony, the funeral host stared at a young mother feeding her child in a trance. From that time on, Wangbo Singji knew that the funeral host's earthly roots had not been cut off. He left his mother at the age of 8 and became an ascetic monk for more than 10 years. On the surface, he was in his 20s, but in fact, his mind was as pure as a child. The longing for his mother and the natural physiological desires in his heart would not disappear with the daily recitation of Buddhist scriptures, but were just suppressed. But once they were released, what would the result be? Wangbo Singji sighed and was extremely entangled in his heart. He couldn't bear to destroy the practice of a charnel ground owner with his own hands, and even felt that this behavior was a serious sin. But if he didn't do that, he would never be able to wash away the humiliation brought to him by Deji in his lifetime. After thinking for a long time, Wangbo Singji nodded to the woman. Since this female bodhisattva has such a spirit of dedication, I will certainly help her. Paji Gesang was overjoyed and immediately knelt down and kowtowed to Wangbo Singji. Thank you, Wangpa Tripa. Wangpa Singji said, this is just to help the deceased to practice, not for my own selfish desires. Amitba. That night, when Deji once again summoned several chieftains to hold the Chuanjiao Dharma assembly, Wangpa Singji's car drove into the Songjia temple from the side door. No one noticed that among the group of lamas wrapped in thick robes following him, there was a beautiful young woman. Please stay tuned, next video is on the way.